folks? Yo, what's up, folks? It's Dave Wood. I'll be on the camera here in a second. I just wanted to reach out and say hello. And what we're going to do is I'm going to walk through the details of my 2020 presidential campaign. I just had to scrap some stuff on my shirt there because I was eating some chocolate and it fell down just a little bit ago. I don't want to look like too much of a hobo, but I don't actually buy that. You know, I have no attachments to my appearance other than that I think that I should look the best for what I'm doing. And that's not really an attachment; it's just a strategy. So, in any case, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about my 2020 presidential campaign. And I'm going to give you details. I'm going to give you some strategies on how you'll be able to make money with this. I'll talk a little bit about how I'll get it done because I'm still not ready. And when I'm ready, already, and I'm gonna hit the news with something like super weird, right? After I get some evidence and I have a little bit of a tested system and stuff like that, and little parts of it have been stress tested and whatnot, and I'll go in very, 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 very quickly and pretty much just take over. You know, so you say, well, whatever. How are you going to do that? Well, I'm going to do that because the plan's so good, right? I've been thinking about this now for like 2 years, right? And actually, I was thinking about running for president of the United States back in the peak of Empower Network too. I actually said I will be the next president. I will be a president of the United States. I'm going to be president of the United States. You know, I always speaking this into existence, right? And so, in any case, let me explain why. So, somebody, first of all, some criticisms. You know, somebody said, "Do you really think that you're going to win the presidency with your track record?" And the answer is yes, because my track record is actually quite good. Before I got smashed and drugged and attempted murder, I was fine. Right. And also, everybody loves an underdog story. Everybody loves a comeback story. You know what I mean? When Obama won the presidency, he just came from nowhere. Nobody knew how he got there. Right. And, you know, or where he was from or whatever, you know, because of the weird stuff that came out about him. But I'm not going to talk about that. So, like, he came out of nowhere, too. Right. So the reality is that when I have my act together, who can sell better than me? Nobody. Right. Really. Who can sell better than me? There isn't anybody, right? I sell better than Tony Robbins, I promise. I just need an audience, right? And he's better at getting an audience than I am. And he has more training in selling, you know, in a stage room of him. But if I went to one of his events, I'd just pick up and automate all of his strategies, and then I'd be better than him. Yes, I'm going to go to one of his events here sometime in the future. But who do you know that can influence people better than me? Who do you know who's better at language than me? Who do you know that knows more about how to make money on the internet than I do? Like at a core, deep, foundational level. And a lot of you, again, would have a criticism. And you'd say, well, look at your track record for the last 2 years. Okay. That track record for the last few years was based on stuff that's not happening anymore. And my ability to do things right now is actually very good. And I'm getting a lot of results. Okay. So I want you guys to understand that I'm back, and that also I'm building momentum. I've got a momentum, kind of the momentum feeling. The fire came back in me and everything like that. And so somebody's like, well, you haven't talked about this in a few months. Are you still planning? Well, what happened was I got very discouraged and hurt by what happened with Matthew Gonzalez. And he apologized. And he and I are fine, right? But I got very discouraged by that. And what happened is that that I just didn't talk about it for a few months because, you know, I needed a new vice president and stuff like that. And I was very discouraged, right? Because I'd been working with him for like 6 months and he'd be a fantastic vice president. And I still wouldn't mind him doing it. You know what I mean? He'd have to come back and apologize and stuff like that and make things up a little bit, but I wouldn't mind him doing that. So in any case, let's talk about these points. Okay. I'm going to read through them and then I'm going to draw them out on the whiteboard, right? I call it the only government approved money getting system. Right. Now, why should you listen to me about a money getting system? My last money getting system did $200 million in sales. This one is going to do a lot more than that. I promise. Right. Now, is that going to be the official name? I don't know. Maybe for the federal government one or something like that. It's just a funnel. But no, the name is not going to be that. Right. The name is going to be something else. But the reality is that we're going to build a system. So number one, a new system for America. And I'm going to talk about these in a minute. Number 2, accounting make money strategy. I'm going to go over that. Number 3, market your business, from the White House or from the government websites, right? Number 4, how we're going to how we are going to win. And then I've got a couple points: evidence, tested systems, boot camp, network marketing, tested, and more testing, and then news after that. Number 5, celestial technology, right? That will start emerging in the presidency, but that's the more of what I'm going to do in there, right? And then 6, this would be a really important key point, and I haven't really covered all this points. I'm going to cover also decentralization versus centralization and whatnot. A volunteer resource-based economy like in Zeitgeist. Now, a lot of people would confuse that movie with like socialism. It's not, right? If it's done voluntarily. The problem that most people have when they try to do things like that is they try to kind of force it on people. Like they want the government to handle things, and it's not really the government that's managing it in the Zeitgeist system. It's the resources through technology. It basically frees up the people, so people are just free to produce and whatnot. And I encourage you to watch Zeitgeist if you want to know a little bit about that. Right? So in any case, let me go, and I'm going to go up on my whiteboard here, and I'm going to talk through each one of these points. And again, there's like a lot of planning in this. There's a lot of thinking behind it. And it's very, 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 very good thinking, right? I should have changed the title or something like that because I got like no viewers on this right now, which is hilarious. Yeah. But it's fine. I don't mind having no viewers on this. People will see it later, And when I start hitting my list a little bit later on today, I'm going to have a lot more viewers on my videos because I'm going to have an email list, right? If I have an email list, I'm going to have more viewers on my videos if I'm hitting the list. This is why I get no views, right? Because I'm not doing those things. Or haven't been yet. So let me cover this. All right. So we're going to go up here, whiteboard, and I'm going to walk you through point by point, key by key, how we're going to do it. I got to open back my book. Okay. Let's do this. All right. All right. Ready? Okay. So number one key point, okay, is we're gonna keep my the name of the campaign is gonna be Make America Righteous Again. Make America Righteous Again. Okay? Why should we want to make America righteous again? We should want to make America righteous again because America will be great again by the end of Donald Trump's presidency. Okay? He'll do it in 4 years, I promise. Make America Righteous Again is the logical follow-up to his campaign, and then we'll have another logical follow-up that we're going to have another logical follow-up, right? That'll be after that. So, number 2, a new system. TOG MS, right? The only government-approved money-getting system. All right. This new system, funny name. All right. Funny name. And we're not going to have, again, that's not going to be the only funnel, but that'll be a great one. Right? And the new system does what? Well, the goal of this system is very simple. It's to completely redo, okay, if we need to, through open source technology. So everybody in America can work on it together. Okay. We're going to completely redo the system that handles the federal government finances. We're going to create a new banking system. And I promise I'll get the help of the central banks on this. And rather than having a central bank, we'll have a central bank that competes with a decentralized bank. Okay? Next, the accounting cash. So through this system, everyone in America gets a login, and they can go in to the system and search through government financial records, which is going to make them accessible. Unless it says something that threatens national security, which none of that stuff does. Most. It's just money. It's overspending money. The thing that threatens national security is the central banks. The things that threatens national security is like stuff like that. So accounting cash. So you save the government money. And then you get 10% of what you keep, of what you save. And then part of that will go through a comp plan that's based on your genealogy and your children and whatnot. Right? So part of it would maybe go to your Social Security account or something like that or whatever, you know. So Social Security needs to be redone. What's wrong with Social Security? It's a Ponzi scheme. The government always gets mad about network marketing for that. This is what it is. People put money in. The government spends it on something else and then gets loans to pay people Social Security benefits. It's the stupidest thing ever. Okay. Testing, more testing. Okay. Number 4. Proof. Right? So, you know, for a long time, I was out there and I was sharing my message with people. For a very long time with no proof. Or things that I thought were proof that other people didn't think were proof. There's actually a lot of that stuff where no matter what the proof is, people deny it. Right? It's like, oh, you're not immortal. You know, okay, so then how am I alive? How am I alive when I have somebody that's that smart and that good and has that much money try to drug me to death? I'm alive. I'll tell you, the only reason I'm alive is because I'm immortal.
What is Martin?
You have no idea the weird stuff I can do. Right? So, but proof, that's not necessarily proof. I mean, you could say correlation doesn't equal causation. It kind of does in that case. But proof would be like blood tests, genetic tests. Proof would be like, let's see. So you'd have, proof. You have blood tests. You'd have genetic tests. And then you would have multiple witnesses for everything. You'd have prophecies that happen over a long period of time. You'd have the genealogical requirements. Right. And then you'd have stuff like me appearing in the Bible code all over the place. And a lot of people search for me and found me. I mean, I'm there everywhere. I'm everywhere. Okay? So there'd be all this stacking evidence. There'd be miracles. Like we took a dog and we healed the dog's arthritis in 20 minutes permanently. That's with another person that's not taking that stuff. Right? We just gave it to the dog because the dog could barely walk. So, right, you have miracles. You have all the various kinds of proof. You have results. You have successes. I mean, everybody thinks I'm going to make a lot of money now because now I'm talking. Everybody. They're like, oh, his abilities are coming back. It's like, this is actually like just as good as the other David Wood I know, except for he looks very much more relaxed, right? And the content is so valuable. Like if you go and look at the video I did on my Zion of Enoch channel today about taprooting, that video by itself could be $1,000 course, right? I gave that stuff for free. Why did I give it to you for free? Because if you utilize it, you're going to make a lot more money and give me thanks later. And I just want to help you succeed. Number 5, network marketing. I promise this industry could get, if they get behind me, will help me get elected. And the industry will get behind me when I've got proof. All the companies in network marketing will get behind me. Everybody will get behind me. It'll be the most ludicrous thing any of you have ever seen. Proof. Right? Because, believing in faith is for salvation. People don't need to believe in me for that. I need them to believe in me to be able to do the things that I can do. Like if I have people believing in me, I can do miracles like 10 times bigger. And I'm not doing them just because the faith, the collective faith, magnifies my ability to create miracles like you used to see at the Empower Network events. We had the collective faith of the audience in my company. So blood test, miracles, results, successes, victories. Network marketing, okay? Number 6. Really not in this order, right? Families. 7, higher power. 8, recruiting boot camp. 9, coaching. 10, kung fu. 11, right? So you have recruiting boot camp, you have coaching, and you have kung fu, right? And you have the Empower Network restoration, right? They'll be under the way after I get some other stuff going. Once I have some money, I'll put that back together. I've got millions of dollars in assets there. Well, a lot of people are like, why don't you let Empower Network go? Empower Network is the kingdom of Elohim, folks. No. And those of you who think it's not, you have no idea what you're talking about. It actually is. Empower Network is what builds the universe engine, eventually. So, now you don't need to believe that to join Empower Network. We're not going to talk about that there, right? It's for business, right? We don't need to talk about. We can talk about religion in the context of everybody's inclusive spirituality there, right? So, let me explain separation and balance of powers in the United States the way that it should work, not the way that it works now. The way that it works now is wise too, because you've got the states and whatever, but the United States is so messed up, it's unbelievable. Everybody agrees with that. Right? So, separation and balance of powers. So, an example of this, you have the federal government, and then you have the various state governments. And then you have the various city governments. What's the problem with the federal government? Very rarely in the last, 30 years has any president really focused on the national business as much as they do on all this international nonsense they've been focusing on until Trump. Now, the reality is that you have the federal government, okay? The federal government separated from the state government, separated from the city government. The federal government separated from the state government, separated from the city government. Again, the federal government separate from the state, separate from the city. Now, the problem is that the federal government really should just focus on federal business. We do not need alliances on a federal government level. It's not healthy. We need alliances, except for maybe Jerusalem or whatever. We need alliances, right, at the kingdom. We need to create a kingdom of America. The kingdom of America should have an authority structure that's similar to how the Mormon church is structured. The head of that should be Donald J. Trump. Because I think all the people that even don't like Trump that I talk to, they would be like, well, he'd be actually a much better king than he would be a president. That's what they said. Which I don't agree with, but I actually do because I think he'd be a better king than he would president. He's Trump. Okay? The Kingdom of America would not have the ability, for example, to control the federal government. They're independent. So this happens through election, and this happens from a top-down strategy. The Kingdom of America should focus on alliances with other kingdoms and whatnot. The federal government should focus on the federal government. And that's it. That's all it should focus on. The federal government. Okay? Which is all the state, serving all the states and stuff from federal government level. Now, here's the thing. If you separate these things out, all of the major problems that we have in international relations kind of go away. You say, well, what do you mean by that? The nation is focused on national business. They can still pass the laws. All the laws would have to be passed, for example, through the federal government, except for kingdom laws. Now, also, what do you have? Well, you can have a legal system, a federal government legal system, and you could have a kingdom legal system or systems. And if somebody wanted to be judged by the kingdom law, they could switch. And then we also have a decentralization, right? We have a decentralization of law, which is far superior. I think everybody would agree with that. Because then if you don't like an area, you don't like the laws, you just move to an area. Fine. There's different laws, right? So you have the decentralization of the law. Now, here's the thing. The Kingdom of America should have the Torah as the law of the land. So what people could do is people could elect to be a part of this legal system, which is much more fair, much more stable, and requires no updates ever. It is the best legal system that exists. There's only like 613 laws, and that's it. Tithing, for example, is taxes that would happen from the kingdom. People would be taxed 10% of what they make, and that's the only taxes they would need to pay, for the kingdom. And then they'd probably give another 10% or something to the U.S. government or something like that. Or we could do that differently. It doesn't really matter. We could do the same thing, too. I don't want to mess with that too much right now. So the Kingdom of America, right, has separation of different legal systems, right? So people could say, oh, I want to be part of the Torah. Now, what's that going to do for people? Well, when people do this, what they're going to see is they're going to see crime exponentially reduced down. After, of course, going up a little bit, right? And what happens is there's less laws, there's less punishments, and the punishments is much more fair. Let's say, for example, in the Torah, you accidentally burn your neighbor's house down. The Torah says the man who does this shall be responsible, right? And surely he shall make restitution. Right? So restitution, if you want to make restitution, or this is restitution rather than jail time, which is my point. It's a much better system. The Torah doesn't need prisons. It doesn't require them. The Torah, you could smoke all the weed you want. We don't need all this crap. So what would happen is through testing, we would scientifically prove over a period of time that this legal system is far superior for reducing crime, for making people more intelligent, and for creating very righteous people, right? So that's basically an explanation of the separation of the balance of powers. Okay, under my future system, which would include obviously the federal government, separation and balance of powers. The king of America could never be the president, right? These people being the same person for any reason would be very, very, very bad, right? So that'd be like a law that can't be changed. It'd be part of the kingdom law that it'd be like part of a kingdom law that cannot be changed, right? And so because it'd be just massively, massively, massively irresponsible, right? But we have separation here, okay? Separation, okay? We have national defense. We have international defense. You know, we have all this stuff, and this is what's going to keep everybody safe, right? Because I'm very worried about America right now because of what I know is going on, and you know, Americans are headed off of a cliff with no pit, with no bottom to the pit. We're headed for a train wreck. Now, Trump's been doing it. I think the economy would have collapsed if Trump didn't win the presidency. I think the currency would have collapsed. But because of what Trump's done, the currency hasn't collapsed. Right. But we're headed for destruction, guys. There's a bunch of stuff that's getting out of control. You know, I don't need to talk about it right now. A bunch of stuff. Very dangerous problems exist right now that like nobody sees. Like diseases multiplying, potential for certain diseases to go airborne, sickness in the food, the mistreatment of animals. This is sad, people. We could have solved this problem together a year ago. By now, it would be mostly solved if we unified together. Now, I didn't approach you guys right. And now I know that because I figured it out. After a lot of people telling me, including my wife, always telling me to get proof, baby. I love you. Thank you. That's what I'm focused on now, baby. I love you. I want you back. Oh, babe, by the way, I'm not going to be able to win without you back in my life. I won't be able to. And it's not, I don't want you to mistake using you or something like that for, you know, attention and marketing or whatever. That's not what I'm doing. It's that without you by my side, baby, I can't do it. Right? Like, I don't even want to really start the campaign until you're back in my life. Don't even really want to do it. I'll tell you, if you could be my vice president, that would be sweet, but you're from Costa Rica. That probably can't happen. They might make an exception. That would be the best vice president ever. I'm telling you. That'd be the coolest thing. Costa Rican supermodel woman that's like, you know, and baby, I want you to be the CEO of all my businesses and stuff, babe. You know, I'll be the visionary, you be the CEO. You know what I mean? I don't need to be the CEO. It's not what I'm good at. It's what you're good at. She should be, I'll tell you, she should be the CEO of North America. America needs a CEO. So we get a CEO of America, and you say, well, that would be the president. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about I'm talking about the CEO is the guy that is going to be doing, you know, he's going to be reviewing financials. He'll take a lot of weight off of me, right? America needs a CEO. A CEO is what it needs. So the CEO just executes the vision. The CEO would be very easy to replace because there's so many of them and so many people would love to do that. It'd be one of the highest paid jobs in America, I promise you that. So we need a CEO for North America, right? What else do we need? You know, a lot of people, well, let me answer some concerns, you know. I'm just going to toss a few of them out. Some people be like, Well, I don't want you going to the White House and preaching about all your King David stuff. I don't need to. It's not what I'm doing. Right? I have my blog for that. Right? I have I have this YouTube channel for that. I've got my Twitter account for that. I don't need to be preaching all the time from the government. However, I will say whatever I feel like I should say and let everyone hear it. Right? Look, I'm going to promote your spirituality. Right? You guys promote your own higher powers. I'll promote your individual spirituality. I don't think there should be one religion. I think there should be lots of them. It's way better. Right? Because this keeps balance and separation, like I'm always talking about. So we have the currency again. Currency goes towards decentralized currency. Right? And then we got the system, Togamas. Currency. We got a system. What else do we got? We got you. So then we have this thing. We have a recruiting boot camp. We all make 50 calls a day, and I'm helping you promote your businesses, and I am Transformation International. We grow this boot camp from 10 people all the way to 100 million. A 100 million people making 50 phone calls a day, right, is a lot of phone calls happening every day. Right? We also include in that other countries. Right? Countries like what? Other countries. We include them in the boot camp. They call America. Everybody across the world will want me to be president. I'm so nice to everybody. You know, and loving and kind towards them. Especially if you guys get around me. And everybody that's been around me has said that. They've been like, your energy is so peaceful. It's the strangest thing I have ever noticed. Right? So in any case, we get other countries involved, right? And then little wins build a crescendo of bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and exponentially compounding wins. Right? We help network marketing win. We help your business win. We help, right, your products win. So the federal government, here's the thing. The federal government should run for free. And what do I mean by free? I mean, it makes more money than it spends. I'll tell you what America should do is America should go back on a gold, silver standard. It's like backed by some sort of like digital currency or something like that. I have a new kind of digital currency I'm working on. Gold, silver, digital currency. Gold, silver, digital currency. Okay. Then we have our own money supply. America will be wealthy again. Right now, America is not wealthy. It's broke. Everybody says it's the richest country in the world. I think it's probably the brokest. Probably has the most debt. I don't know if it has more debt than China or something like that. My point is it's broke. That's why America needs a CEO. Right? The CEO knows how to fix this shit. Okay? America's broke. Period. Zero money it's got. You say, well, it's got all these assets. Yes, it does. All those assets have so much unbelievable debt to them. Where's the wealth of America? It's been stolen by the central bankers. They robbed it. Now, maybe not the ones that are alive right now because they're just running the system or whatever, but you know, they know too. They're slaving people. They create money from nothing, and we all buy into this system because we think we need it. We actually don't need it. There's assets. There's gold, there's silver, there's property. There's assets. You don't need, when you've got assets, all this bullshit. So if America has all these assets and all this money and it's debt-free, all America needs to do is utilize that money, right, to like partner with the private contractor, partner with a business owner, and then as a result of the partnership or the government grant or whatever the government gives that thing to start to help the business idea go, the government then gets a percentage of the profits of that business. Small percentage, maybe 10%. Okay? Something like that. 20, 30% maybe. 30% maybe till it's paid back, and then it just do that. So anyways, this is making sense to you, right? So you're going to be able to capitalize on a massive reorganization and change that will happen across the world. Yeah. Dave, you're so wise. Thank you, Truthfinder. Listen to what he's saying. America is broke. King David had been rich and poor. He knows what he's talking about, what it takes for a business to work versus be broke. Yeah, that's true. Right? Thank you. Good positive energy there, right? So if we do it this way, we include everyone. How are we going to include everyone? It's a one-word concept that comes from Buddhism. Oneness. Oneness is breaking down the walls of separation that exist between different kinds of belief systems. Oneness, right, is you're working with people to help them get what they want in their business. Oneness is learning how, rather than fighting everybody, to listen to them and then develop a plan where they work together with you to help you win. Oneness is about bringing people together. So we take this concept of oneness. Think about how, let me give you some examples of my ability to create oneness. Look at Empower Network. Okay. Look at the success that I had for a long, long, long time. And I have again now, just as it's coming. Look at how encompassing my philosophies are. Okay. My philosophies, regardless of whether they're true or not, okay, let's just talk about the philosophies, which my philosophies actually sound quite a lot like enlightened knowledge if you read my blog. And you read the blog of another enlightened teacher, it's like the same energy. Okay? Encompassing philosophies break down the wall of separation between Islam and Israel, for example. Right? Encompassing philosophies are about peace rather than war. So I don't want our troops, if it's my choice, I don't want our troops meddling around with other countries unless we're in war. And if we go to war, we should go in taking Jesus' strategy. He says, I come like a thief in the night. And you just take over that country or something, like in seconds. Throw everything you got at them until there's nothing left if you have to. Right? People won't mess with America if we act like that. They'll be afraid. And the other thing is that if we're minding our own business, Other countries are just going to leave us alone. I'll tell you why the Twin Towers thing happened. It's because we got all these troops all over the world. People hate it. Right? I'm telling you, that's why it happened. Or the government caused it. I actually suspect that Bush caused that. It was just too convenient. Islam, Israel, peace rather than war. So you want to generate peace. Peace with people. Who wants to be fighting all the time? I know I don't. You know what I mean? Like, I like Kung Fu. I like studying martial arts. But I don't want to fight all the time. I want peace all the time. So, if we create peace rather than war, we're going to start to get somewhere. Here's the next thing. Love for animals. Love for animals. Look. Love for animals. We mistreat animals. We mistreat animals. We do it. We're responsible for it, even if we've tried our best to stop it. All of us are responsible for it. Because we're not paying attention. We're not being careful. The animals are dying for our fault. And we're complaining that, that it's like, oh, we just need the food really fast. And it's like, no, we don't. We need to have good systems that treat animals well, just like we treat people well. Mistreatment of animals is explicitly forbidden by the Torah. There's lots of punishments for it. You can't mistreat animals. Right? The meat that you guys eat is tortured most of the time, unless it's kashrut, kosher, or halal. These are tortured animals. I mean, they leave these things. You've seen the vegetarian videos. You have moose along the ceiling. You have moose along the ceiling, or whatever, and they're just like they're screaming, and they're still alive as they're going through a butcher line upside down. Do we really need to do that? Hell no. It's irresponsible. I'm telling you, it's irresponsible. Right? The way that, people cut the chickens' beaks off and stuff like that because they want to have like more chickens in less space. We don't treat animals well. It's so irresponsible. So we have love for animals and the trees and the forests and whatnot. Forests, rivers, and the ocean. We get people to stop dumping crap in the ocean and the rivers. How? Solutions. I've been talking actually long enough. I'll do another video expanding on some of these ideas in like a week. I hope that this actually gives you a little bit of a good idea. So again, I'm not ready yet. I'm close. But so I'm going to go gather evidences, prove what I'm saying is true. Then I'm going to hit the news with the proof. And I'll just take over at that point because it'll be the most wild thing anybody's ever heard. And nothing will be able to stop me from getting that done. I promise. right? And that's basically where I'm going to start that thing, because when I prove that what I'm saying is true, the entire industry will get behind me, just like it should have 2 years ago, guys, because I got solutions for everything. Doesn't matter if you believe me or not. I got solutions for things that work. You should start believing me. Listen to the quality of solutions. Listen how enlightened the knowledge is. Right? Creating, let me give you an example. Everybody's worried about socialism, which right now we're kind of socialistic anyway, because the government's, taking so much money from you, and then we got so many benefits and stuff like this. But socialism comes from predominantly the Democratic Party, right? And socialism is the idea that the government should run all your business and stuff like that, which isn't the way that it should be. So what's the value of socialism, though? The value of socialism is that the concept is good. Everybody wins, right? The idea, just the idea. The idea of it is very good to people. The Democrats really want it, and they're a giant, majority of America. The Democrats are. And so the Democrats, they hold on, I gotta drink some water here real quick. Yeah. So the Democrats want it. And here's the deal. If we don't give it to them, right, they're going to create it anyway through force, right? So what we could do, we don't want to do socialism, because socialism is against freedom of choice. We let people elect for a resource-based economy managed by, like, Zion in America, right? A resource-based economy would be managed by technology. We'd test that in a small city. And then if it worked well, people, they could vote to be a part of that system in their city or something like that, but we don't force it, right? So it's volunteer based on the law of consecration, which is people give everything they have, right, like they did in the New Testament. And then the money is managed by systems, which makes everybody get cheaper food, cheaper cars, cheaper everything. Because the system is managing the money, so people spend less money because they're not dependent on their own ability to spend money. They're dependent on the system. That's a much better way of doing that, and it would get the Democrats behind it, even though it's not socialism, because it has what they want without the socialism. Does that make sense? They understand the needs for the things that I'm talking about. They don't understand all the reasons, but they understand the needs. Like, I'm pretty much done talking for now. I hope you got a huge amount of value from this and, have some ideas. And so, like, all these things, like, for example, the government in my model, right? It's a part owner in lots of businesses that it helps start from its own money and from its own investments. So then the government builds to a point where just from the investments alone and the returning money that's coming in from the investments that gets replenished back into the fund, the government is making far more money than it does right now through taxes. So then all we need is a 10% excise tax. 10% excise tax should go to a ministry that is checked and balanced by the federal government, but it should be a ministry, right? In North America, I think the name of the ministry should be Zion, right? And what happens is that the everybody gives, because they're giving 10% of a mint to a ministry, and it's a tax, it's an excise tax, not income tax, no income tax, just excise tax, 10% excise tax, right? And that's basically all the money that we end up spending, right? So we get this 10% excise tax, and it goes to a ministry, so that rebukes the devourer. Like if you read Malachi, it said, "Well, man robbed God, yet ye have robbed me. But ye say, wherein have we robbed thee? In tithes and offerings. Ye are cursed with a curse, for ye have robbed me, even this whole nation. Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse, that there might be meat in mine house. And prove me now herewith, saith the Lord of hosts, if I will not open the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing so abundant there shall not be room enough to receive it. And I will rebuke the devourer for their sakes, and he shall not destroy the fruits of their ground, neither shall the vine cast its fruit before its time in the field, saith the Lord of hosts." Okay, guys, I got to go work on this sales video that I got to put together. I'm just going to make a new funnel today, and I got to get this up in the next little bit. I'm almost done with the presentation. This is going to be for the Empower Network affiliate fee. Okay. And I'm using one of the old blog presentations, but the blog presentation has a bunch of it should be talking about the product, and so I'm taking this one. I'm doing the affiliate fee for this video, or actually no, I'll just sell the blog and then I'll tag on the affiliate fee in a offer bump. You know what I mean? But anyways, I got to finish this video. I appreciate it, and so. What's the name of this political party? Empower Network.